So we have a seller that met several real estate agents that said, Mr. Seller, we can probably list your house for around $230,000, and if you're gonna put some money into it to just kind of make it show ready, you're probably gonna break even. Right. So
yeah, he told us that if we did the carpets and the painting and a few other things, we could list it at $245 and we might get some interest.
Okay.
And then we can come down to $230, and he was like, that's what you should be happy with.
So what happened next? What was the frustrating part, I guess, for you? Obviously trying to understand what you can net and what is it that you have to do in the whole process as a seller, right? Because it's not an easy job. So it's frustrating. It can be frustrating because you rely on someone's expertise and you want to think that they know what they're doing and what advice they give you. So what was your biggest frustration, I guess, in trying to determine this whole thing? Like, do I go and just sell it, just sell it and no hassle? Like, where do I list it? Am I going to get the best advice from someone? What was the biggest thing for you to overcome?
Worrying that I made the wrong decision. It was literally one of those things where I felt like we were going to have to settle for something no matter what we did. And so I was trying to make sure that I felt like I made a good decision later so that I could at least justify my decision. That's part of why we just called one of the big companies. We just, like this is the name I've seen in advertising.
Oh,
so
interesting. I didn't know that. This is the first time I'm hearing that.
So I just was like, that was just a very safe, because I knew for me, my dad was the one that was helping me with renovation costs and things like that. So any decision I made, I was like, I had to explain it to him, and it has to sound like a really good decision. So I was like, I wanted to be like, so I went with the biggest company. I went with a local company so that it wouldn't be my judgment as much.
Right.
Which is how Ashlea came involved, because I was talking to her and just said, well, maybe I should get a second opinion, because like that's a thing people do. You just get a second opinion. And so she brought you out, and your second opinion was so different that I thought I was misunderstanding your accent at first.
Oh my God, that is hilarious.
Because you kept saying, repeating that he had estimated 230, and then you'd be like, well, no, like 300. And so I thought like something was getting lost in translation.
Wait, she's from another country. She doesn't know the difference between 2 and 3.
Well, you were just kind of like,
that's so funny.
You were kind of just mumbling to yourself what the numbers were. And so
I do that a lot. I just mumble.
And so
numbers.
I was just, and so I kind of turned to Ashley, and I was just like, so she's saying like 230, not 300, right? And no, because you kept saying, well, like if you put a lot of work, maybe 330, and I was like, she means 230, right? and she was like, no, she thinks that if you do what we suggested and then listed off all the extra stuff, something which I didn't do, then maybe you get to 330. So like now looking back, like maybe we could have gotten to 330.
He did everything that I knew he was capable of doing, and I knew how to push him, right? So push him in the right way without overstepping who I am and my relationship with him as a client. There's a fine limit between what someone is willing to do to net a certain amount of money when they sell their house, and
living through it.
So there's certain things that you have to overcome. There's certain things that you need to sweat into doing. It doesn't always come easy. However, a lot of sellers go with the easy route, or with the we're just gonna how much money did you net? I'm just gonna let him say this.
So we put 30,000 into it. So we ended up getting 78,000. So technically we netted like $48,000 once I paid back the investment we put into it.
So would you consider that $48,000 is something that's worth? How much time did you work?
Months. But what I actually did, it was about being able to general contract it out to the right people, and then just the fact that I couldn't move out of my house, so I had to move stuff from room to room constantly. So it was a thing, but it wasn't like I was doing the painting. You know, we just hired out who got recommended, and they did an amazing job. Even when I needed extra things, I just asked them, and they recommended people, and they did an amazing job. So we needed like a roofer to, you know, brought out the contractor's buddy and did an amazing job for us.
So if you were to sum it up in maybe 2, 3, 4 words, what is the biggest thing that you learned from working with us?
I think I learned how pretty my house could be, like how pretty it could have been all along, and how inexpensively it could have looked like that, because it's so much about talking to the right people and getting the right people in that can kind of make it happen the way that I wanted it to. I had bids for painting that were higher than my total renovation costs.
A lot of people think that they really have to settle for the first quote, right? And if they get a quote for $20,000, then they have to get, you know, that's pretty much what it is. So a lot of the companies that are out there trying to get your money, they're kind of counting on that lack of knowledge or on the lack of other people's capacity of negotiating certain deals or finding people that can do things for cheaper, right? So yes, I'm not negating the fact that you need to work. So there's something that you need to put in it, but is $48,000 worth it? Right?
I mean, it was for us. Like, I was really afraid that I was going to be happy if we broke even.
Right.
And we were thinking, like, if we put a bunch of money into it, maybe we would get some money out of it instead of walking away with, you know, our next down payment all nice and safe.
Right. So what do you recommend?
I mean, what I recommend is that other people do what I did, which is find your information wherever it is around your video, and get a better opinion of what your house is actually worth.
So go on a video, right? Somewhere around that, you'll definitely figure out how to contact us.
And then they should ask you what they should do and what can be done. Because honestly, the last $30 we spent at Home Goods making little knickknacks probably made as much difference as the first couple thousand we spent on siding.
Right.
It's so much about just getting everything right and being at the right price point.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.